Hey y'all. So today I want to talk to you about how do credit cards work. So this is an article from Investopedia. I don't know if you can see that on there. Investopedia is a good website. It has a lot of useful information on there. And this one today is about how do credit cards work. So I'm just going to try and keep it brief, short, sweet, and simple. A couple pages to go through here. And this is all about credit cards. So this is an article by a contributor. It says, it's in the personal finance section. It says, credit cards can help you build credit while offering convenience. So when you need to make a purchase or pay a bill, credit cards can offer both convenience and the potential to save money if you're earning back some of what you spend in rewards. At the same time, you can also use credit cards to build credit history through healthy financial habits. So while credit cards and debit cards may look similar, they work very differently, If you're new to using credit, here are a few important credit card facts to know. So key takeaways: credit cards have a credit limit that you can make purchases against, then repay at a later date. The next point is carrying a balance on a credit card can cause interest charges. Next point is it's important to read the fine print closely on credit card promotional offers. And then the next point is some credit cards allow you to earn rewards on purchases in the form of points, miles, or cashback. So that's usually a perk that issuers or providers will offer to their customers. Those perks, and that's usually why people sign up for one card versus the other. So that's an important topic. So the next topic that we get to is, what is a credit card? Question mark, this or that. A credit card is a physical card that can be used to make purchases, pay bills, or depending on the card, withdraw cash. The simplest way to think of a credit card is as a type of short-term loan. When you open a credit card account, your credit card company gives you a set credit limit. This is essentially an amount of money that the credit card company allows you to use to make purchases or pay bills. Your available credit is reduced as you charge things to the card. Then you pay back from your credit limit to the credit card company. So also, it says here, also note, credit cards can be secured or unsecured. A secure card requires a cash deposit to open, which typically part of it's missing, something about credit limit. Anyways, moving on. So when you use a card for either one, your card details are sent to the merchant's bank. The bank then gets authorization from the credit card network to process your transaction. Your card issuer then has to verify your information and either approve or decline the transaction. So this is under the Investopedia Essentials. Let's show you that. Okay, so let's see what it says here. I guess this is just a note on how using your card works. So it says, if the transaction is approved, the payment is made to the merchant and your card's available credit is reduced by the transaction amount. At the end of your billing cycle, your card issuer will send you a statement showing all the transactions for the month, your previous balance and new balance, your minimum payment due, and your due date. The grace period is the period of time between the date of a purchase on your card and the due date listed on your statement. During this period, if you pay your bill in full by the due date, no interest charges accrue. But if you carry a balance month to month, your card issuers can charge you interest, which is usually how a credit card works. Your credit card's annual percentage rate, APR, reflects the cost of carrying a balance on an annualized basis. Your APR includes both your interest rate and other costs, such as an annual fee if your card has one. Most credit cards have a variable APR that ties to the prime rate. This means that your card's APR can change over time. Though the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Card Act of 2009, I think that's in the United States. Currently, I don't know if other areas does this, sets strict guidelines on when credit card companies can and can't raise your rate. So there's a side note here too. It says being 60 days late on making payments to your credit card can cause a penalty APR, which can approach the 30% range. Then we get to types of credit cards here. Types of credit cards, next topic. And it says there are several types of credit cards, with the biggest category being reward cards. Reward credit cards can include travel-related reward purchases. You may also earn rewards for spending on the card. This is part that's missing here. Many reward cards are co-branded with certain airlines and other companies and perks. So similar to reward cards are cashback cards, which offer back such as 2% or 5% for spending. Secure credit cards looking to build or rebuild their credit. If your credit profile something is able to get a secured card, which requires a security deposit collateral by the issuer. Part of it's missing on the page, so it may not make sense there. And the next topic is credit card fees. So it says when with credit cards come various fees, not just the interest rate. Some fees can include balance transfer fees or fees charged for transferring your balance to another card. These fees is usually a percentage of the balance transfers, usually a percentage of the balance transfer, such as 2%. There may also be over-limit fees, which are charged if you go over your card's limit. Of course, there are late fees, which are charged if you don't make the minimum payment by the due date. Note that if you're late on a payment, the issuer may also revoke any introductory rate you had. So next topic is credit cards versus debit cards. So a credit card and a debit card may seem like the same thing, but they're not. When you make purchases with the credit card, you're actually spending any of your own money at that moment. You're actually not spending any of your own money at that moment. So that's a credit card. Instead, you're spending the credit card company's money, which then you have to pay back potentially with interest. So debit cards, on the other hand, are linked to your checking account. They're not exactly the same as a prepaid card. When you make a purchase with your debit card, the money is automatically deducted from your bank account as soon as the transaction is processed. There's nothing to pay back later since the money has already been taken from your account. So that's the credit card is money issued to you and made available to you that you can use, and debit card is money you earned and put into your own account and use. So the two completely different things. And then it says a tip here: many credit card issuers offer a $0 fraud liability guarantee automatically, meaning that you aren't responsible for any fraudulent charges made with your card. And then it goes on to the next point, so that's good to know. And then the next point is debit and credit cards are also differ in terms of their credit score impact. Using a debit card has no impact on your credit score because your bank activity is not reported to credit bureaus. Credit cards, on the other hand, can impact your credit score directly. FICO scores, for instance, calculate your scores based on, and this is a good point, your payment history, your credit usage, your credit age, your credit mix, and inquiries for new credit. So let me just show you that if you haven't seen that before. This is what your credit score is based on, these points here. Then it says making credit card payments on time can help your score versus hurt it. Similarly, keeping a low balance compared to a high balance has a positive impact. And while maxing out your credit cards could impact your score, it's best to pay your balance in full each month, or attempt to try and pay it in full each month might not be feasible. Another key difference between credit cards and debit cards is that federal law offers more fraud protections for a credit card than a debit card. Then we get to a point here, shows you another topic versus two, credit card versus debit card up there. Interesting. So it goes on to talk about debit card liability. So it says you are not responsible for unauthorized transactions if a lost or stolen card is reported before it's used by someone else. If a lost or stolen card is reported within 2 business days, your liability is limited to $50, depending on the area, country, etc. If a lost or stolen card is reported more than 2 business days later, but less than 60 calendar days after your statement is sent to you, your liability is limited to $500. If a lost or stolen card is reported more than 60 calendar days later, you're responsible for all unauthorized transactions. So I guess the sooner the better is the key concept here. If your card isn't lost but is used to make unauthorized transactions, you're not liable if they reported within 60 days of your statement being sent to you. So that's good to know. Then the credit card liability, it says under the Fair Credit Billing Act, and other countries might not have this, something like this. Your liability for unauthorized card use is limited to $50. If your credit card number is stolen, but not the card itself, you are not responsible for unauthorized purchases. Done. That's good to know. So pros and cons of credit cards. The biggest advantage of using a credit card is ease of use and safety. If your card is lost or stolen, you will likely be reimbursed for any fraudulent charges. You may also be able to get, or you can get a 0% introductory rate for a set period, such as 18 months. That will allow you to make a large purchase and pay it off over time without incurring interest charges. You'll also get rewards for cash back with most cards, which is a free incentive to use the card. Credit cards can also help boost your credit score if it's used responsibly. On the flip side, credit cards can come with high interest rates, which can be expensive if you don't pay your balances in full monthly. With credit cards, it can also be easier to spend more money than you can reasonably, with reason, and pay off in a short period of time. On the flip side, credit cards, the next point is if your debt spirals and you can't make minimum payments on your cards, your credit score will take a hit. You will also, or could also, rack up late fees and likely be subject to even higher interest rates. Then we get to the credit card pros and cons. So I'll show you here, it's just a list. Really easy. The first one in the pros section, it says ease of use. Then second point is safer than cash. The third point is rewards and cash back. And fourth point is it can boost your credit score. Then the cons, in the cons section, it says high interest and fees, which is true. Potential debt spiral can hurt credit if payments are missed. So you just want to make sure it's a low amount and it just doesn't get out of control. Then we go on to comparing credit cards includes points such as regular variable APR for purchases, APR for balance transfers and cash advances, promotional APR terms and conditions, annual fees, reward programs, and introductory bonus offer terms. So it's also helpful to look at the card's other benefits and features, if any. For example, if you're interested in opening a travel credit card to earn miles or points towards flies and hotel stays, you may also be interested in finding a card that comes with benefits such as airport lounge access or airline fee credits. If a card has an annual fee, it's helpful to compare the value of rewards and benefits to the fee to decide if it's worth it. Then the next topic is why you should use your credit card. So let's see if these are points that aren't already repeated. So I'll read this and kind of skip along here. So some points here. It says why you should use a credit card. So overall, I'll just close on this point. The pros of having and using a credit card outweigh the cons for most people. They'll help you build credit. If used responsibly. Good credit helps lower the interest rates you'll pay for other loans, such as home or car loans. Credit cards can also help with budgeting, either through the budgeting tools that the issuer offers by allowing you to track and categorize spending. And of course, credit cards tend to offer rewards or cash back. If you have a high amount of spending, such as on dining out or flights, you can take advantage of cards that offer high reward rates in those categories. And then the last paragraph says, but perhaps one of the biggest reasons to use a credit card over, say, cash or a debit card in round brackets is the fraud protection. If there is a fraudulent charge made on your card, or if it's lost or stolen, you're protected from fraudulent liability. So that's good to know. It's pretty standard with credit cards, especially if it's lost and someone finds it and makes a purchase, then you should be covered for that. And then it goes on to talk about the main differences between credit cards and debit cards. How does a credit card help you build better credit? Question mark, this or that. How does a person shop for credit cards? This or that. And then it talks about access to world-class learning from top universities or colleges. And then alternate search sources. And then it goes on to some other articles. Yeah. So overall, I find this was a really good, interesting article to read. Has some useful information in there about credit cards, all about credit cards. I hope you found this information useful and helpful to you in your day-to-day. If you did, make sure you like this video and join the team. I'll be posting a whole bunch more useful information that I hope you find helpful. Till next time, have a good one, buds, bud fams, and chaps. And yeah, have a good one.